Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel Planet Build, and welcome to part 17 of Sunshine Scandinavia. In today's video we are going to focus on the theming of our coral watching attraction in the backside of this area, and we are going to theme the front side of the mountain over on this side, and the front side also provides as the theming for the deep dive coaster on this area. We still got a lot of things to do, also the backside of this mountain as well, which also provides as some scenery for the queue of the deep dive coaster, but that will probably be for part 18 in the next video. But we still got a lot of things to do in the front side. We're going to do some small plazas, we're going to do a lot of scaffolding on the front side of this pathwork. So like I said, still a lot of things to do, so let's just go ahead and switch to the speed build section immediately. Now, first of all, thank you again for following this series, this Sunshine Scandinavia series, and yeah, I'm very thankful for that one because I do see a lot of new people on my channel, and hopefully y'all watching this this Sunshine Scandinavia series, and I can't wait to complete this this park and show you guys the end result of this one. And I also can't wait to start the new area, which will be the Mythic Olympic area. But first we have to finish this one, of course. Like I said in the intro, I do need to have, I think, one video to complete this area. Besides all the small little details that I'm missing out right now, like some trash cans and maybe some extra benches and some small glitches that are still in the park or not highly detailed as I want it to be. So, but that will be for probably the last video when I do need to get some finishing details into this park. So like I said, one more video for this section beside this one, and I think that will wrap up this whole new area, and then we can start working on the Mythic area. For that area I'm going to use the dueling wave coaster, which I already built in the beginnings of Planet Coaster 2, and I'm also going to add that coaster as my contribution to the challenge that Frontier has announced. I think it was 1 or 2 weeks ago, for the dueling challenge, where you have to upload a dueling coaster, mostly because of the new sync option that is in update 2.0. So I'm reusing that coaster for my Mythic team, but you will see that one later in a future video. And also one thing that you may have missed out because it didn't got a lot of views, but I made a video where I need your help in creating the theming for the volcano in this Sunshine Scandinavia park. So if you missed that one, be sure to check that one out. I'm going to put a link in the description and also a link on the top right now, because I do need your help for that one, and it would be very nice to see how many people actually want to be a part of my park, and that just gives me an idea of how the community is right now for Sunshine Scandinavia. So if you want to be a part of this park, I want to create a lot of small Viking buildings. Be sure to check the video out for that, for the full instructions, but I want to build some small Viking houses which I want to use around the volcano. I'm going to theme the volcano like a Viking area where the Vikings and some small dragons combine their strength together to create something amazing inside the volcano. Therefore I need your help, otherwise I'm going to add in those buildings myself, but I think it would be nice if you guys would join me and help me with that. Now, in today's speed build, like I said, we're going to theme the coral watching attraction over here, and I do want to have a small switch between the first section that we made in this area, where we do got a lot of buildings, and I want to have while we're going further in this area, I want to have a little less buildings but a little more scaffolding, like the illusion of this area not being completed. So therefore I'm going to use a lot more scaffolding and a less lesser buildings than I did in the first area, of the first section of this area. And the main reason for that one is because I want a nice transition between the coral reef section and this coral mining section that we're building. So therefore, in between where the deep dive coaster is, I want a nice transition area where you have more scaffolding and less buildings. But I still need a building for the coral watching attraction over here, and it's actually the outside of the building is a quite hard one, because I can believe it does not fit each area in your park. Like for example, if you would use this attraction in your Viking or your Mythic area, you get the pipework around the attraction. So I do believe this is the only area for the attraction, or the place to be placed, because it also fits the pipework and the industrial theme that I used in this section. And it also is a nice hint to the underwater section that is also created with the pipework and stuff like that. Now, if some of you might know of my earlier videos, is that I reuse a lot of buildings, and then I adjust them a little bit to fit the way I wanted them to fit in a particular area, and adjust it a little bit, and add some new pieces and stuff like that. So that speeds up the process for me completing some theming around some attractions. And I do need to say that I sometimes skip a little bit of my builds, and that's mostly because I just have to think about like 20 or 30 minutes on what I'm going to create next. And sometimes I got a brain freeze where I don't know how to create the next theming on a small area in my park. Sometimes I just got the right ideas and can build it quite quicker than I wanted at first. And I like the industrial theme on this one, because the industrial theme makes it much easier to build some buildings and some theming around this attraction, because you can go all the way, and it's not your standard main street houses or buildings that you're building, but you can go all the way with those pillars and those towers, and the type of scaffolding you can use. So you can also use a lot of props on it just to give it so much more detail. And there was also one thing I was struggling with a little bit in this area, and therefore I added some new types of trees. I don't like to have the same type of trees in like overwhelming a whole section. So I do believe that a nice mixture of let's say 4 or 5 trees and some bushes is a nice combination to detail your area. And therefore I needed some new trees in this one. So they're a little bit different than the ones in the first section of this area. Otherwise I would just have the same type of trees next to each other, and that's a thing that I don't want in this area. As you can see over here, I skipped a little bit, and that's the main reason for that one is that I do have to think about the things that I want to build. Otherwise this video will be way too long. So I'm putting some things into place just to see how it would work out. And later on you can see that I already placed down the plaza in front of this, right next to this deep dive coaster. Now for this mountain, I didn't want a mountain that was fully covered by structures. So like I said, I don't want to have that much structures in this area, but I do want a lot of scaffolding just to have the nice transition between this area and the coral reef area. So therefore I use a little bit more scaffolding, and I also think it adds nicely to the deep dive coaster theming. And I think scaffolding also covers up those gaps in the mountain where the coaster comes out, but also where the guests have to walk through and have to come out on the next section of this pathwork. Now, eventually, in the last video for this section, which will be part 18 of Sunshine Scandinavia, I'm going to do the theming on the backside of this mountain, and that will be also allow scaffolding, but mostly give the guests a look inside these structures, so that you got a lot of industrial theming also. And I'm going to add scenery inside the lift hill for this coaster. Going to add some lights and stuff like that. So I think that one will be pretty cool as well. And I got a lot of rooms in the backside of this mountain for the coaster, and I already separated those rooms to make sure that there's only scenery needed to be added in those rooms, and some rooms don't need scenery because there's just a small area where the coaster already was unloaded, and it travels from the unloading station to the loading station, so therefore no guests will see that section. So I covered that up as well. Now for this mountain I wanted not that much pipework in it, but some small details, just to have that nice transition again between the first area that we made and the second one. Excuse me. And I did want some pipeworks in here with some flowing water in it, just to give the illusion that there's actually water coming out these pipes. Like I said in my other videos, I do need to be careful of how many details I'm putting in. That's probably also one of the reasons why I'm not covering up this whole mountain with bushes and trees and rocks and stuff like that. So I'm keeping it as natural as I can. But I'm using the terrain paint tool just to give it also a little bit of more detail with the rock painting, but also with the shrubs painting and the gravel one. Because I was working on the dueling wave coaster to upload it for the challenge Frontier dropped, and at first I thought a blueprint can only have over 4,000 pieces, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I now uploaded a blueprint which was over 5,000 pieces, which is the dueling wave coaster, and there was also some scenery around it and a small plaza in front of it. So that confused me a little bit. So I'm not quite sure if you can now upload a blueprint which has over 5,000 pieces. I do believe that is great, because when I make a small coaster and want to upload it to the workshop as a separate blueprint and not as a park, it always has over 4,000 pieces of scenery, because I just add in too much detail. If it's right now that you can upload over 5,000 or even bigger, that would be great. And that also gives me the opportunity to make some coaster for you guys and some other attractions, which are highly detailed, and which I can upload to the workshop for you as well. Now back to the beginning, because when I was trying to figure out how big or how many pieces the Storm Chaser coaster has in this park, because I also wanted to upload that one to the workshop, I wasn't able to, because that one has over 6,500 pieces if you would select all the pieces around it, all the scenery around it. And then I was kind of curious how many pieces this park has right now, and I selected all of the pieces in the park, and it already has over 50,000 pieces in it. So I do need to be careful. I do believe the mythic area does not need to have so much detail as this area, because I think the mythic area will have some scenery which does not provide so much detail as this area over here. This area also needs a lot of foliage and some bushes and things like that, just to make it look nice. And I do believe that the mythic area will do well with just some small rocks and the gravel on the ground as the terrain paint. But I do believe when this park is finished, it will have, I think, somewhere over 80,000 or 90,000 pieces. There's still a lot of things to do. I think the volcano will have around 8,000 pieces as well for the theming, because I have to theme the outside and the inside of the volcano. There will be a parking lot, but I don't believe the parking lot will have that much theming, and also the mythic as well. So I'm quite curious how big this park will be when it comes to the amount of pieces I'm putting into it. Now, like I said, as you can see over here, I do need a lot of scaffolding to cover up the edges of those entrances and exits from the rock formation over here. And I do believe the scaffolding is perfect for that one. In the end, I do still need to add light in those caves. And there's still one problem, and I already saw a comment from somebody else online that there is that the lighting inside a cave or underground is not working. You can add light, but like a lanterns or so, but it's not working properly. So you still have to put in some of the show lighting, just to make sure it has enough light inside the cave. So hopefully that will be fixed in the next update. And I'm using these small yellow bushes, which are actually the purple bushes, but I recolored them to yellow just to give it a little bit of coloring detail to the groups of foliage I'm making. Otherwise it will be all green. And I think that yellow and also the weird coral trees that I made are just the things that give it a little bit more detail. Now the building over here, the circular building, is the same that I used in the entrance plaza for this area, and I adjusted a little bit and reused it in this section, but I'm going to cover it up with a little bit different buildings on top of it than I did with the other one in the plaza. And this entrance you see over here will also be the entrance for the deep dive coaster. Now, I will also do a separate video where I'm going to add in all the billboards for the attractions, and I'm going to make custom billboards for those attractions. And I made one for the Tropical Storm Chaser, or I call it now the Storm Chaser. But that will be a separate video, because I do believe that's a nice thing to add in my park, and will also be a relaxing video just to showcase what types of billboards I'm going to make, how I'm going to make those, because I use a different program for that one. And I'm going to add in all those billboards to the buildings and the entrances for the attractions. And I think that's for update 2.0 is the billboards and the ride synchronization is, in my opinion, when it comes to my parks and my builds, the things that I was looking for the most. Because the billboards is something that I was still missing in my park. I got a lot of letters. You got a lot of letters in the scenery pack, which you can use to showcase what kind of ride it is. But I actually don't like the types of letter that are in the game right now. So I'm very grateful that Planet Coaster added, or Frontier added, those billboards in this second update, and that gives me the option to actually have my own custom billboards as a sign for all of my attractions. And again, as you can see over here, the scaffolding is just perfect to cover up the walkway underneath those mountains, or this mountain. Now, like I said earlier in this video, I do need your help on creating the theming around the volcano, which is the centerpiece of Sunshine Scandinavia. And I want to create all those small Viking dragon buildings, and those are quite similar to the ones that are being built right now for the Isle of Berg in Universal Epic Universe. And I hope, and I do believe, that people who watch my videos are also interested in theme parks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that that is a main reason why you're also playing or watching Planet Coaster 2. And I've seen a lot of theme parks in my life, mostly the Disney theme parks, but also some Universal theme parks, and of course the Dutch theme parks like the Efteling. And I'm quite hyped for Epic Universe. I've seen a lot of videos of the construction from the beginning of the landscaping until the almost completion of Epic Universe, and it's quite nice to see how they made those things, and how the construction work goes, and what the progress of that park is. So I'm quite hyped for that park to open. And if you're also interested, just go ahead and search online on Theme Park Stop, and that's a channel who provides construction updates on Epic Universe. And if you like watching videos of Planet Coaster 2 or Planet Zoo or any type of building games, I think that one, Theme Park Stop, is a nice channel where you can watch the progress update on the construction updates on the progress of Epic Universe. Yeah, quite happy with those videos, and I learn a lot also from those videos, mostly in the way they use the pathwork for their parks and how they theme the pathworks. And no, this is not a sponsored advertisement for Epic Universe or Theme Park Stop, but it's something that interests me. So, and also, yeah, like I said, the buildings that they are, or the types of building that they use for the Isle of Berg are the types of buildings that I want on my volcano, and that's the main reason why I also watch those videos, just to see how they made those buildings and how I'm going to use those buildings on my volcano. So be sure to check that one. And like I said, if you have missed the instruction video on how you want to participate in the theming of my volcano in the centerpiece of this park, just go ahead and check that one out as well. Now we are almost at the ending of our video. I'm not gonna thank you yet, but I'm gonna leave you to it for, let's say, the last 3 minutes until the highlights kick in. Just going to add the last scaffolding around this section, just to cover up a large space of water over here, and also have some nice pipeworks over here. So. And so that is it for part 17 of Sunshine Scandinavia. Now we did come quite a long way in today's video, and I think we're about 90% completion of this area. The only thing left to do for this area is, like I said in the beginning of the video, is the backside of the mountain over here, which provides for the loading station of the deep dive coaster. There's also the monorail traveling through this mountain, so this does need a little bit of theming. But what I also did already is make those rooms and separate those rooms to eventually add some scenery, but also not add scenery in places where it should not be, like in this case the backside over here, which guests will not see because there's an unloading station on the front side of the mountain. So I'm going to theme this in part 18, but for now part 17 is finished. I'm quite happy with this area and the progress that we made so far in today's video. I like the theming on the mountain. It's not too overwhelming as the rest of the area, but I think it has some nice details in it, just to, I don't know, just to cover it up a little bit how big this mountain is. So quite happy with that one. I also got a small section over here where the monorail, and I hope there's a monorail coming right now, but yeah, there's one over there, but there's a small section over here where the monorail will be visible for the guests as well, and I think that provides some nice perspective where you got the deep dive coaster going downwards into the cave and then the monorail passing in front of it. And I also like the fog in both those holes of this cave. The only thing I'm missing is when the coaster is going through it, you see the effect of the fog going up or down the moment the coaster travels through it. So that's maybe a little bit highly detailed, but that's something I'm missing, but quite happy with that one. And yeah, like I said, I'm surprised that we came this far so quickly for this area. Just one part still remaining to complete this area, and once the park is fully finished, I do need to add some small details that I'm missing out right now, but that will be a separate video probably when this park is like 99% completed. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys very soon. I hope you like the things that I build, so leave a like if you do, and like I said, see you next time. Bye bye.